What's going on, everybody? This is LD, and tonight I'm just going to talk to you guys a little bit about goals. Not goals that I have in particular, and not goals that I expect anybody else to have in particular, but goals in general, because survival is one thing, and you can have goals just to survive. But if you want to thrive and live in abundance, you're going to have goals. And so I'm just going to talk a little bit about this because it's important if you want to do something more than just have a roof over your head and your bills are paid and you know say you're the type of person like me that likes to travel and go places and see new things and discover new things. It's really hard to do that if you don't have goals to set for yourself because like right now, I mean, I'm barely able to make ends meet, but I'm working on it. I'm actually getting there. I'm achieving my goals slowly but surely. Uh, Eventually, I would like to be able to get to where I could do all these traveling and things like that, and that's part of my goal is to get to where I can live in abundance. And like my last episode did, when I was talking about the law of attraction, I imagine myself already there. I picture myself already living in abundance in my head, in my dreams, and on my vision board. And that's a very important thing to do because your vision board actually reflects your goals. It shows you exactly what you want, what you're working towards. You want that new house, new car. You want a swimming pool in your backyard, palm trees and stuff like that. Those are goals. Those are affirmations. Those are things that you are looking forward to in the future. Um, but it's good to have goals because without goals, there's nothing to actually work towards. I need a job so I can pay my bills. That's not really a goal. That's just kind of a necessity. Um, I need to make this kind of money because I would like to be able to travel and be able to, buy nice things for myself or for my significant other. Those are kind of goals. The end game is to thrive and live in abundance. And I don't know one person on this earth that would like scoff at, hey, how would you like to turn something that you do every day that you enjoy doing, something that you love to do, into a multi-million dollar thing? And, you can go to France, you can go to Belgium, you can go to Antigua, you can go to Buenos Aires. And those are goals because you're wanting to be able to, like me personally, like if somebody was like, hey, let's go do this, and this. I mean, even if I had the ability to, I probably wouldn't do it. Like it's nice to travel every now and then. And it's nice to be able to say, if I wanted to go to Japan right now, I could, but I'm not going to. Uh, it's kind of like if I had $1 million in my bank, I wouldn't go buy a fancy house in a nice neighborhood. I'd probably stay where I'm at, fix this place up, and then live humbly, like I normally do every other day. Only my bank is secure, and I know that my bills will stay paid. I'd probably have a nice car and all this other stuff, but I wouldn't want to live in a fancy house in a fancy neighborhood. Um, I'd stay humble. I wouldn't have all these flashy, exuberance things around, simply because, I mean, usually people that do that are not well liked. I mean, people pretend to like, the guy with the big house and the flashy cars and all the jewelry and stuff, but it's not necessarily that they like that person. It's that they envy that person, or they, I don't know, they feel some type of way about that person's lifestyle, and so they show them some kind of false respect. Um, Me personally, I usually don't vibe well with extremely rich people. Even if I were to become one tomorrow, I would try really hard not to become one tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like, uh, just because I've got $6 million in the bank doesn't mean that I act like a man with $6 million in the bank. I just couldn't do it. Um, it's kind of arrogant, and I don't want to have that kind of a. I don't know. I don't want people to look at me like, oh God, look at that guy. Oh, he thinks he's fucking special with all that. No, that's not me. Um, so yeah, it's good to have goals, but it's also good to be humble about what you're doing because nobody likes an asshole. Uh, I mean, I don't know. I can't say that it's necessarily true because I'm kind of an asshole, but I'm a likable asshole. I'm a real human, down to earth kind of guy that just speaks how I feel with no filter. Um, but I digress. Set yourself a goal. Uh, get a vision board. Some people use like a cork board and they just cut out pictures from magazines and they stick them up there on the vision board and like a collage, and they just focus on it every day. They wake up, they look at their vision board while they're in their office working. They look over at their vision board before they go to bed. They look at their vision board. I know a guy that, I mean, anytime he looks up, dude takes a shower, probably brings his vision board into the shower with him. Me personally, I've got my vision board, then I've got my desktop on my computer, and then I've also got one on my phone, and I'm thinking about putting one above my bed, so when I'm laying in bed and I'm staring up at the ceiling at night, I'm actually staring at my vision board. It's got all my goals on it. It's a very healthy thing to do. It sounds strange. A lot of people think I'm crazy, but it's a good thing. It helps you manifest. As I was talking about in the last episode about the law of attraction, manifestation is possible. You just have to believe in yourself more than anything. You don't have to actually believe in the process so much as you have to believe in yourself, because you can't manifest anything if you don't believe that you have the ability to do this. And by manifest, I don't mean sit there and wish it into existence. You think about it hard enough and it just appears, like one day you wake up and, there's a deed to this $300 million house and the keys are in your mailbox. No, it doesn't work that way. To manifest is, it's kind of like you want the money, you need the money, you have to have the money, but you don't know how to go about doing it. So you focus on your goals, you focus on these affirmations and these things that you want in your life, this abundance that you want to live, and an idea will come to you. That $6 million idea will come to you. It could be a book, it could be anything, just an idea of what you can do to get that goal, to achieve that goal. And I mean, it could be anything. There are so many different examples that I'm afraid to even try to throw one out there without just sounding completely random and stupid, because whether you believe me or not, a lot of people are going to be like, oh, he's just talking trash. He's just trying to get us to listen to his thing so he can make money off of us. No, I'm telling you the truth. I don't make enough money off this podcast for that to be the thing. Now, do I want you to listen? Yes. Do I make money off this podcast at all? Yes. And that's part of my manifestation. I'm hoping that eventually I personally will become big enough to where I will have the podcast, the blog, my own little show on whatever that I do. And maybe one day I'll get Joe Rogan level, or maybe one day, whatever I'm talking about on my thing, my brand, basically, because that's my goal. And you have to have goals like that. You have to set goals like that. And I mean, don't set goals to where it's like something basic. You got to aim high, like the Air Force says, aim high. And, I mean, don't limit yourself. I have no limitations. My goals are mildly insane, but I mean, if I reach even a portion of them, I will be satisfied. And that kind of sucks, because even in a way, I feel like with me saying that, that's kind of like I acknowledge the fact that I limit myself. Like, oh, I set my goals so high that even if I just reached a portion of them, I'd be satisfied. But really, in real life, I'd like to have all of my goals reached. I don't want anything crazy. I don't want like a pet Jaguar and, 14 Humvees or nothing like that. I just, I want a 69 Chevelle. I want my house paid in full. I never want to have to worry about whether my lights are going to get cut off again. I need a new phone. Stuff like that. But I also want to be able to be, I got my car, my Chevelle. My house is paid for. I got my new phone. Okay, we're taking a trip. We're going to go from Canada to Japan to South America to, wherever. And I want to be able to take my folks with me, my friends with me. Like I've got a select few of people that, if I hit the big money and I reach my goals, I'm taking them on a trip. Boys' night, I guess, but it's going to be a lot longer than a night because it takes longer than a night just to get from here to Japan. The point being is, those are my goals, and it's healthy to have goals like that. You need to set something higher than your expectations of yourself, because if you don't, then what are you reaching for? If your goals are only 5'4" and you're 6'2", you're not really reaching that high for your goals. You're just putting your hand out and you're touching them. If your goal is to work at McDonald's, I don't really know. I don't really know how to respond to that one, simply because that's not really a big goal unless you're like a teenager. If you're in your 40s and your goal is to work at a bookstore, well, I don't know. I guess that makes sense for some people in their 40s because bookstores are almost obsolete now, and people still do like to read books. So I don't know. People do love that. That's a passion type thing there. I guess that doesn't really count, but you get the gist of what I'm saying. It's like, here, take a word from our sponsor, because this is my goal. If you're thinking about starting your own podcast, I recommend using Anchor.fm. It's free. It's got all the creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone, tablet, or computer, and it will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many other places like that. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenerships through sponsorships. All you have to do is record a commercial and upload it, and it's got everything you need right there in one place to make a podcast. All you have to do is download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor.fm to get started right away. And see, I know that commercial isn't really going to make me a millionaire. It's not. But getting my name out there, getting my voice heard, putting, this under my belt as part of my resume. Hey, what have you done that is relative to this line of work? Oh, well, I've got this podcast that I've been doing for X amount of time, and it has X amount of listeners and X amount of episodes. Well, then, that might actually put me into that position to where I can make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year and eventually work to my $6 million goal. Because, see, that's my goal, my $6 million goal. And I'm not saying set a goal and then make that goal be the end game. $6 million is not my end game. I want to get further up there. That's just like my part of my 5-year plan goal. You know what I'm saying? 6 million or more. 6+ is my 5-year plan. And in order to do that, I have to keep putting myself out there. And I know that if I were out right now trying to find a job that would hire me on at $10 to $20 an hour after taxes and all that and blah, 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 and then they would shorten my hours, I'd go from working 40 hours a week to 30 hours to 20 hours, and then even $35 an hour is not going to cut it when you're only working 8 to 10 hours a week. If you set goals and you do things and you become your own boss and you find ways to turn your passion into a profession, then you actually enhance your chances of making those goals. Find a niche. My niche is I will talk about anything and will study and educate myself on a subject before I start talking about it. And I know a lot of musicians and a lot of rappers, and so I could sit here and I can call anybody up at any time and have an interview with them and then post it and instantly get 120 listens in a day. I mean, that might be all of the listens it ever gets, simply because everybody sees it once, jumps right on it, and that's it. Nobody cares anymore. But whenever I go to other places and I throw out, hey, I'm trying to get work as a podcaster, I'm trying to get work as a voice actor, I'm trying to get work at a radio station, And then they're like, well, what experience do you have? And I point them here to all the smoke, and they're just like, oh, wow, that's you. Okay, yeah, I thought I recognized your voice. And I've even had people on the streets come up to me, and when I'm talking to them, they'll be like, your voice sounds so familiar. And I'm like, I get that. And then they're like, have you ever heard of, oh, yeah, no, that's me. And it's kind of nice because I do get recognized. And it's a very satisfying thing when somebody's like, I know your voice from somewhere. Where do I know it from? And, sometimes I'll play it off like, I don't know, I mean, maybe I've got, just a very common sounding voice. And they're like, no, I've listened to you speak before. And then I've had it to where, like, I've gone into the gas station to get cigarettes or whatever, and the person behind the counter's like, are you LD with all the smoke? And I'm like, why do you ask? And they're like, well, your voice sounds just like his. And I'm just like, well, that's funny because my face isn't anywhere on this. You can't see my face nowhere. But, I mean, I guess I just have a very distinct voice that sticks out because people have literally, I'm not even playing, come up to me and said, hey, I know you. No, you don't. And they're like, yeah, no, I listen to your podcast. I know your voice. And I'm just like, wow, that's amazing. But it's nice. And it helps me feel like my goal is that much closer to being fulfilled. And it makes me feel good about it. So if you can get to where you take something that you are very passionate about, something that you enjoy doing every day, and you can turn it into something that you might possibly be able to make money off of, turn it into a career, and make it work for you. That's kind of a goal. That's something that's important, because if you don't do what you love, then love what you do. And I mean, I don't know. To me, that's goals. A lot of people are like, I want this and I want this and I want this. No, I just want to be able to wake up in the morning, step out on the balcony, and smell the fresh air and know that no matter what I want to do, I can do it. And to me, that's a goal. Whether I do it or not is irrelevant. It's just that if I wanted to, I could. And that's what you, the listeners, need to feel like every day. You should be like, well, I'm going to take the wife to Hawaii today. Man, get it. Do it. Do what you got to do, man. Take her because you can, because you've reached your goal to be able to do that. And, I mean, it's a beautiful thing to be able to just do what you want to do and not have to answer to anybody. I mean, I guess if you're married, you kind of have to answer to somebody, but that's different. That's a mutually assured goal. That's like both of y'all are looking at each other going, baby, you want to go do this today? Absolutely. Let's go. And maybe one day I'll find love and I'll be able to do that. But in the meantime, I love me and I love talking. So I'm just going to marry my job. I'm going to marry this podcast. Me and this podcast are going to have a beautiful life together. And who knows? My goal is to, even if I get to where I'm doing something different, hopefully related to voice work, podcast, radio, voice acting, something, I'm still going to try to maintain this podcast. Because whether I'm doing something like this and I'm trying to help people understand what they have to do to reach their goals, manifestation, meditation, or just self-confidence. Then I also have today we're going to call up such and such and talk about that new album that they're putting out, or this show that they're doing, or this service that they have. And it's a big deal to me, because this, to me, no matter what I'm talking about, I feel like I'm helping somebody, even if it's just me telling a stupid story about how my ex called me up starting trash, and then her current boyfriend started making threats, and I haven't talked to either one of them. Him never, and her in months. Shit happens like that. I don't know. And I know a lot of folks that complain about the type of vernacular that I use, my language. I'm not going to watch my language. I'm a grown man, and even in professional settings, people curse. It happens. I've had businessmen talk to me, and they have some of the most foul language that I've ever heard in my life. I have talked to lawyers that cuss worse than drunken sailors. I think I'm doing pretty good with my language. Um, I mean, sometimes I cuss too much. Oh well. Have you ever heard Tony Robbins talk? Dude's got a foul mouth, and he is one of the most well-paid people in the coaching and mentor industry. Like, that dude cusses a lot. So I don't know. Um, it's just, I guess it's all just what people want to hear. If you don't want to hear somebody cursing, find you somebody to listen to that doesn't curse. They're out there. I'm sure they are. There's, that hardcore Christian guy that wants to, I mean, and I'm not saying I'm not a Christian, but I'm saying I'm not going to filter what comes out of my mouth, because if I start doing that, it's going to make it harder for me to get my point across, because then I'll start forgetting what I'm trying to say, because I'm too busy trying to come up with more useful words other than the curse word that I was about to say. And that's part of my goal. My goal is to be able to say what I want, when I want, publish it, and you listen to it. And then me be able to make a successful career out of doing so. And I believe I can do this. I feel like it's already in the works. I'm already getting there. And you can too. I mean, it's not that hard. All you have to do is think about what you want and how bad you want it. What you got to do to reach that goal. A lot of people would think that it's a little too difficult to, maintain that kind of train of thought. But like I said before, get you a vision board. I mean, a lot of people, like I said, they use cork boards, desktops, cell phone. Shoot, even like a Pictionary thing, if you can draw. I don't know. I don't think that would work so well. Cut out pictures of magazines. Go online. Look up pictures of things that you really, 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 really just want. And I mean, I emphasize reallys on that, because I mean, it's got to be a deep down desire, something that you absolutely have to achieve, and get them. If it's a office type situation, like a job or something, find an image of people doing that job and focus on it every day, and then look for jobs that put you in that type of position. If you want to write a book and you don't know what to write about, put up pictures of different books, authors, just anything related to writing, and just look at it every day and think about what you're passionate about. Like, pick your passions, and like, if you have to, find pictures that relate to your passions and put them up there, and maybe, just maybe, an idea will come to your mind, and you might have that $1 million book idea just pop into your head. But you can't give up. It's not cool. So many people give up on their dreams, they give up on their goals, and then they settle for something that is not even worth scoffing at, let alone settling for. And it kills a lot of adults when they give up on their goals at a young age, and then 20, 30 years later they're just miserable because they have that what if mentality, and that is the worst thing to have. It's better to try and fail than to never try at all. And I mean, that's very true. I can't remember who originally made that quote, but it's very, very true. It's better to try and fail than never have tried at all. Because then you don't have that what if. Like, what if I would have done this and it was a success and I could be this right now? But then you could say, well, I tried this and I wasn't very good at it. But a lot of people give up. They say, I'm not good at this, I'm not going to do it. But if it's something that you really, 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 and I emphasize really, want to do, it's something that you're passionate about, it's a dream of yours. If you're not good at it, don't stop. Keep doing it. I'm not good at this. I don't feel like I'm good at this. I could be good at this for all I know. I don't really know. I mean, I can't tell. I might be. I must be. People listen to me. But I'm not going to give up. That's the point. Even though I feel like I'm terrible at what I do, I'm going to keep going, because if you start out something new and you're not used to doing it, and you're not that good at it at the beginning, the more you do it, the more you get used to doing it, the better you're going to be at it. It doesn't matter what it is. Welding. I've seen people start out and they make those welds so crooked and ugly, and some of them aren't even strong enough to last very long. But the more you do it, the better you get, the better your beads look. And then, I mean, and it's not just that. There's so many things that are like that, like playing a video game, like these online MMORPGs. We're going to take World of Warcraft, for example. People start the game, they're noobs, they don't know what they're doing, they don't have the DPS that it takes to kill the boss, they don't have the healing ability to keep everybody alive. But the more they play the game, the better they get at it, the better gear you get, the more experience you have, the better you are. You get into a raid group, next thing you know, you're a core raider. I was a core raider in mine. I'm pretty sure I'm not now. I haven't played in like weeks. But the point being is, you get better the more you do something. It's like riding a bike. You first start out wobbly, you need training wheels. Then after a while, you're confident, you pop those training wheels off. You're still wobbly again without the training wheels, but you're riding. Then eventually you just steady on through. Next thing you know, you're balling off past cars on the streets, like doing whatever, you know. Anything you start at first, you're not going to be good at. Like, that's not necessarily true. Some people are just naturals. They jump in it and then they're just like, boom, it's instant. There you go. But you got to work. You got to build yourself. I mean, everybody is a work in process. You can't just start, like I just said 10 seconds ago. Some people can do that. Some people can just jump right in and be a natural, as they call it. But a lot of people, for the most of us, we have to jump in, and you get off, your voice is shaky, your knees are shaky, you're nervous, you're sweating, you don't know what you're doing. But then, like, weeks and months, years into it later, it's almost just like, oh, well, did I really just, I'm already done? Wow, I can't believe that was so quick. And people are requesting you to do whatever it is you do. It's like, I worked at a pizza shop. It was called Lost Pizza Company. It's in Memphis, Tennessee. I worked there, and we all made the pizzas the exact same way. We had portions that we were only allowed to use a certain amount of each ingredient on the pizza toppings. We had to arrange them certain ways for even distribution of toppings and all this stuff. And no two pizzas were different at all. Like, you could not tell the difference, honestly. But for some reason, if I was working that day and I made the pizzas, people could tell. I don't know if it was just because I enjoyed it. I was good at what I did, and I enjoyed making those pizzas because not only did everybody make the pizzas the same, but I made all the dough. So it's like, if Jimmy was working that day, the dough he was using, I made. If Angie was working that day, the dough she was using, I made. If I was working that day, the dough I was using, I made. So we all used the same ingredients, and everybody did their own portionings the exact same way, but I did all of the dough in that restaurant. And people could tell when I was working, even though all of the pizzas were identical no matter who made them, they would be like, I want him to make my pizza. And I didn't get it at first, but I think somebody told me it was because of I put care into each pizza. Like, I made it like I was making it for myself. And I don't understand it. I guess it's true. People take that first bite with their eyes. It looked better. I don't know. It was the way I presented it. If I portioned the pepperoni slices evenly, I don't understand. But people literally would. They would come in there and say, hey, is he working today? No? Okay, I'll be back tomorrow. Or, hey, is he working today? Yeah. Could you have him make my pizza? Okay, sure, I'll do it. I don't know why. I could have had, Jimmy make it for you, and you would have never known the difference. They would. It's so odd. It's just how it is. But I don't even know why I went there, like what that has to do with anything. But the point being is, no matter what it is you do, the more you do it, the better you get at it. The better you get at it, the happier you'll be doing it. Nobody likes doing a job that they're not good at, that they're miserable. It makes them miserable. Oh, this is so hard. I can't fucking do this. Why am I doing this? I suck at this. And And next thing you know, you get to where you master a job and you're like, that's right. I'm the motherfucking man. If you want this done, you gotta ask me because I know what the fuck I'm doing. And, I mean, it's confidence. It builds it. And then it makes it easier for you to set a goal. Back to the subject at hand. Set goals. Get better at doing what you do. Enhance your abilities. Reach your goals. Never, ever, ever go throughout a day without having a goal, a plan, an end game. And I don't mean end game like, okay, when I get this done, I am through. I ain't got to do shit else for the rest of my life. No. End game being, hey, this is where I want to be here. Because then, once you hit that part of the end game, you can set another end game goal to go further than that. We'll go back to World of Warcraft. You had vanilla. People went through, got to level 50, it was over with. No sir. After people got to their max level, an expansion pack came out, raised the level cap, gave them more content. You get to the end game, max level, all the gear. You wait a little while, new expansion, more content. You can always stack your goals. And it's better, in my opinion, to set a goal or a couple goals, achieve those, stagger, set more goals. You don't have to do it all at once. And once you do it, you don't have to be finished with that. You can keep going. You can always expand your goals. Human expansion packs. Oh my goodness, what a concept. But just do something. Make sure you have goals. Set a plan. Do something. I want to see everybody get better. This 2020 was a horrible fucking year. It was the shittiest year I could think of. And I am 42 years old. I have not seen a shittier year since I've been alive. I'm not the only one that thinks this way. Almost everybody I know, if you ask them, how was 2020? Horrible. 2021. We set goals now. We try to achieve better things. We want to raise our expectations. We want to better ourselves. We want to make a more successful existence for us and those around us. Right? Right. Alright, y'all. That's all I've got for right now. This is LD. You're listening to All the Smoke. Have a great night.